सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम सच्चिदानंदरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं। समस्तदेवताभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराण आचार्येभ्यो नमः। परब्रह्मणे महाविष्णवे ब्रह्मणे सनकादिमुनिभ्यो नारदाय वेदव्यासाय शुकब्रह्मर्षे सूतमहामुनये शौनकादिऋषिभ्यो अत्र्यादिऋषिभ्यो वैशम्पायनादि ऋषिभ्यो प्रह्लादादिभक्तेभ्यो मत्स्यादि अवतारेभ्यो नमः। श्री दक्षिणामूर्ति दत्तात्रेय हयग्रीवादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री आदिवराशक्तिमात्रे नमः। ओम श्री माता पितृदेवताभ्यो नमः। श्री आद्य शंकराचार्यवर्यादिगुरुभ्यो नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम् एकादश स्कन्धः मुक्तिर्हित्वा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ पंचविंशोऽध्यायः। श्री भगवानुवाच। Straight away let us chant from the mantra 16 onwards. यदा चित्तं प्रसीदेत चेन्द्रियाणां च निर्वृतिः देहे अवयं मनो असङ्गं तत्सत्त्वं विद्धि मत्पदं विकुर्वन् क्रियया चाधीः अनिर्वृत्तिश्च चेतसाम् गात्रा स्वास्थ्यं मनोभ्रान्तं रज एतैर्निशामय सीदच्चित्तं विलीयेत चेतसो ग्रहणे क्षमं मनो नष्टं तमोग्लानिः तमस्तदुपधारय एधमाने गुणे सत्त्वे देवानां बलमेधते असुराणां च रजसि तमस्युद्धवरक्षसां सत्त्वात् जागरणं विद्यात् रजसा स्वप्नमादिशेत् प्रस्वापं तमसा जन्तोः तुरीयं त्रिषु सन्ततम् उपर्युपरि गच्छन्ति सत्त्वेन ब्राह्मणा जनाः तमसा दोध आमुख्यात् रजसान्तरचारिणः सत्त्वे प्रलीनाः स्वर्यान्ति परलोकं नरलोकं रजोलयाः तमोलयास्तु निरयं यान्ति मामेव निर्गुणाः मदर्पणं निष्फलं वा सात्विकं निजकर्म तत् राजसं फलसङ्कल्पं हिंसा प्रायादितामसं कैवल्यं सात्विकं ज्ञानं रजो वैकल्पिकं च यत् प्राकृतं तामसं ज्ञानं मन्निष्ठं निर्गुणं स्मृतं वरं तु सात्विको वासः ग्रामो राजस उच्यते तामसं द्यूतसदनं मन्निकेतं तु निर्गुणं सात्विकः कारको असङ्गी रागान्धो राजसः स्मृतः तामसः स्मृतिविभ्रष्टः निर्गुणो मदपाश्रयः सात्विक्याध्यात्मिकी श्रद्धा कर्मश्रद्धा तु राजसी तामसि अधर्मेया श्रद्धा मत्सेवायां तु निर्गुणा पथ्यं पूतम् अनायस्तम् आहार्यं सात्विकं स्मृतं राजसं चेन्द्रियप्रेष्ठं तामसं चार्तिदाशुचये सात्विकं सुखम् आत्मोत्थं विषयोत्थं तु राजसं तामसं मोहदैन्योत्थं निर्गुणं मद अपाश्रयं द्रव्यं देशं फलं देशः फलं कालः ज्ञानं कर्म च कारकः श्रद्धावस्था कृतिर्निष्ठा त्रैगुण्यः सर्व एव हि सर्वे गुणमया भावाः पुरुषा व्यक्तधिष्ठिताः दृष्टं श्रुतम् अनुध्यातं बुद्ध्या वा पुरुषर्षभ एताः संसृतयः पुंसः गुणकर्मनिबन्धनाः येने मे निर्जिताः सौम्य गुणा जीवेन चित्तजाः भक्तियोगेन मन्निष्ठः मद्भावाय प्रपद्यते तस्मात् देहमिमं लब्ध्वा ज्ञानविज्ञानसम्भवं गुणसङ्गं विनिर्दूय मां भजन्तु विचक्षणाः निस्सङ्गो मां भजेत् विद्वान् अप्रमत्तो जितेन्द्रियः रजस्तमश्चाभिजयेत् सत्त्वसंसेवया मुनिः सत्त्वं चाभिजयेत् युक्तः नैरपेक्षेण शान्तधीः सम्बध्यते गुणैर्मुक्तः जीवो जीवं विहाय मां जीवो जीवविनिर्मुक्तः गुणैश्चाशयसम्भवैः मयैव ब्रह्मणा पूर्णः न बहिर्नान्तरश्चरेत् इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायाम् एकादशस्कन्धे पञ्चविंशोऽध्यायः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम श्री भागवत शरणं मम श्री सद्गुरु शरणं मम श्री सूत शरणं मम श्री शुकदेव शरणं मम श्री व्यास शरणं मम श्री नारद शरणं मम श्री कुमार शरणं मम श्री ब्रह्मा शरणं मम श्री विष्णु शरणं मम श्री परब्रह्म शरणं मम श्री कृष्ण शरणं मम शरणं मम शरणं मम श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव ओम मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ओम श्रीमद्भागवतं पुराणतिलकं यद्वैष्णवानां धर्मं यस्मिन् पारमहंसमेवममलं ज्ञानं परं गीयते यत्र ज्ञानविरागभक्तिसहितं नैष्कर्म्यमाविष्कृतं तत्शृण्वन् प्रपठन् विचारणवरः भक्त्या विमुच्येन्नरः। ओं नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओं श्री कृष्ण परब्रह्मणे नमः। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणमेकादश स्कंध मुक्तिर्हित्वान्यथा रूपं स्वरूपेण व्यवस्थितिः। अथ पंचविंशोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच। I saluted all the gurus, devatas, bhagavata acharyas, all the avatars, thanking them and requesting them to give us the stability, ability to understand the sara of all the shastras which we are studying and implement all of them in our life to reach to this ultimate goal of life. What is taught to us in this 25th chapter of 11th Skandha Bhagavat Puranam is, except in this Parabrahma Tattva, everything in this universe is out of the Maya or Prakriti, which has got these three gunas. Therefore, everything in the world has potentially in it the three gunas of Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. It can be the Deha of ours, the Antakarana of ours, the entire world around us is manifestation of the three gunas. Then we having gained the knowledge about the three gunas and their effects, their influences in general in our life, in particular in our sadhana, by our choice, listen carefully, by our choice, among these three gunas, we have to invoke the sattva guna. We have to make the sattva guna more and more predominant in and around our life to our capacity. Not allow the rajo and tamaguna giving any sort of importance to them. So everything has got the three gunas. Hence Trigunatmaka only entire world. Among that, in every place, we when we give value importance to sattva and not to rajas tamas, then always we will be in the same prakriti but in sattva guna. And that sattva guna predominance, when we have created using that sattva guna, we can reach to the tattva. Without creating sattva guna, without using it for the tattva jnanam, the result will be we will be helplessly invoking the rajas or tamas, and they will play havoc in our life by pulling us to the lower level of living, and there is no end to that falling step by step, down by down. So that is how this entire chapter talking to us about the gunas. By our choice, everything can be, what you say, from everything we can invoke the sattva-guna, or sattva-guna things which are there around, alone them we can choose. If we are not alert, if we are not having the discretion or discrimination, by choice or by mistake, if you choose rajas and tamas, consequences will be very, very severe, serious, dangerous. And as we said, in the Satya Yuga, everybody were invoking and living only in Sattva Guna with Tattva Jnanam. Then when the Treta Yuga came, there the Rajas became more, secondary became Sattva, then the third was little Tamas. In Satya Guna, in the Satya Yuga, Tamas was very less. And when it came to the Dwapara Yuga, Rajas was more, Tamas was second, Sattva was third. In Kali Yuga, Tamas is more, second is Rajas, Sattva is very rarely we see. Wherever the sattvic things are there, even in them also, the performance of these sattvika things are either tamasic oriented with not following rules, regulations, or rajasic oriented with all agitations and expectations, desires. There is no purity of the sattvata, even in sattvic activities of whatever the spiritual things, the God related things that are done in the Kali Yuga. And exceptions are there always, even in Kali Yuga, somebody can be in Shuddha Sattva Guna, but so much struggle he'll have to do to reach to that level. And in this, more than the struggles, we can say more of the sacrifices. You know, only when he sacrifices all the rajas tamas created things, that person can avoid rajas tamas, and by intensely at every cost involving in the sattvika things, he can become sattvic. Still, people are there around of that category, but can be counted on the fingers. So in our life also, it is so simple by now. Whatever the 16, 15 slokas we studied, how our dehadi or antakaranadi are under the influence of rajas tamas. Therefore, these are the gunas. As if helpless victims we are having, and based on gunas, those gunas, we are behaving to get sukha or dukkha as the result. So, having known this picture, slowly, steadily, deliberately, consciously, we have to do the required effort, we have to do the required sacrifice, enter into the higher gunam. So, if in one sentence one asks, what's the purpose of life? You have to just say, increasing my sattva guna, using that sattva guna to reach the tattva. Bas, that's my mission. Then the elaboration, the details of it, the prakriti, its gunas, each one's influence, then how to change from the lower to the higher. ये सारा माइंड में हमेशा अलर्ट रहना चाहिए. As we said yesterday, exactly like today in the beginning, That when we are in the world, anything we are entering to, or everything is trying to enter into us, we have to do the scrutiny of it very seriously, sincerely, and see if it is Rajasic, Tamasic, we don't enter, we don't allow it to enter. Only if it is Sattvic, we allow. That strictness, which is very essential, when one follows in course of time, his entire Vyaktitva becomes Sattva Guna. Thereafter, life is so beautiful. Life is not struggle, life is not any promptings or any sinful activities. वो सब अपने आप चले जाते हैं when we increase sattva guna in us. Now yesterday what we saw about these three shlokas which are so important, once more we can touch them. The 18th mantra, it is actually the mantra which can be held in our heart all the time, and keeping that as goal, getting inspiration from that understanding only, we have to conduct our life. I must live my life like this. I must make my life like this. That should be the choice. That should be the clarity in us. The four things that are so about the chitta in sattva guna, which Bhagavan said it as that type of life is. Sorry, not 18 wala. It is 16th wala. Tat sattvam vidhi matparam. Vatpadam. In fact, such person is living as I am living, or he is living near to me, or he is living in me, or his experiences are just like that of me. tat sattvam vidhi mat padam. वो वाला सत्व जानो और वही मेरा पद है. That is my position, my status of being. I, Lord, stay at that level. And the four ones will not elaborately explain because we saw it yesterday, but the enumeration should give us the required inspiration. First is what? Yada chittam prasideta. The choice. Let my chitta be always in the prasanna avastha. You know, because of some influence, it tries to enter into the frustration of Rajoguna or the laziness of Tamoguna. Come what may, I'll keep my chitta in prasannata. Some good qualities like contentment, some good qualities like good values and virtues. Is it not? Some good qualities that feeling the gratefulness that the Lord has blessed me with human life and all. When these are entertained, we will be in the prasannata of the chitta. Not once, not twice, all the time. And obviously, when the non positive activities are never allowed through us to happen, then also those regrets, guilt will not be there. Then we are in prasannata. So, Bhagavad Bhakti gives prasannata. Dharmika Jivanam gives prasannata. Value orientation gives prasannata. And then having good values gives us prasannata. So that's how my chitta I want to keep always in. Yada chittam prasideta. Okay? Second quality is so beautiful. Indriyanam cha nirvrutihi. See, all the indriya vastus are there around. Full freedom is given to indriyas, and yet no jumping out of the skin by any of the indriyas to enter into the indulgence of those objects. That state of indriyas I must have. Anywhere I am taken, any of the objects of the indriyas are there around, but my indriyas, like that mouse or chuha, looking at Ganapati Bhagavan, same way, my indriyas should only look for the divinity, not entering into that pravritti. So, indriyanam nirvrutihi. That the indriyas are in a wonderful state of self-contentment. In them, there is no, what you call, the attitude of jumping into the objects in any way, come what may, not there. Just nirvritti of indriyas, all the five of them. See, for this, and what is required is, जितना भी इंद्रियों का एंजॉय वो करो उसका लेवल उतना ही है. In this sort of thinking, when we are in, then indriyas become nirvruto. Very dignified life there. No demand of the tongue, no demand of the ears, no demand for the eyes of these or those forms. Indriyanam nirvritti. Bas dekh chuke hain. Let us covet this state of being. Third one, dehe abhayam. Another wonderful quality we should have and we should think to have. Ki, I am no more attached to this body to such an extent that any of the bhaya because of the body is coming to me. I am happy with the given deha. I am happy that I maintained, managed it. I am happy that I am using this deha for the highest of the purpose. And yet, there is no bhayam that something will happen to this deha, though definitely something is going to happen. Dehe abhayam. So, deha sambandhi bhaya rahitya. Whether it become old or diseased or death or becomes less potential, as we grow old, all abilities start going away. Then that fear comes, the dukkha comes. I'm not able to listen like earlier time. I'm not able to, what do you call, the munch or chew, the things with the teeth or mouth as I used to do earlier. So these are all the bhaya related to the weaknesses that are coming to the deha. एक समय ऐसा था मैं तो आयरन भी खाकर चबा लेता था। अब क्या है, बहुत नरम 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 खाना भी दिया, पचता ही नहीं वो। खाओ तो नहीं पचता है, नहीं खाओ तो कमजोरी होता है। ये आ ही जाएगा फॉर ए पर्सन। हाउ मच एवर वन डज योगा आसना प्राणायाम भोजनादि नियंत्रण फॉर दैट पर्सन, unlike the other rough and tough people, maybe 10, 15, 20 years more, he may live life more healthily. But beyond that, with all those disciplines, etc., he will also will have the things to the deha. So the one using yoga and pranayama, he may live 120. The one who is not doing them, only bhoga, he may live 70. Even though he lives 120, but 120 ke baad to at least again he will also have the deha bhayam. Because everybody's deha will lose its capacity after certain time. Then the acceptance of it and going through that. Dehe abhayam. Is it not? As early as possible, we prepare our mind with this. So less will be our worry and tension with regard to the body when that age comes. Consult doctor, give required meditation, food or rest. Remaining time, give the mind to the sadhana. This is what Bhagavan Shankara in Chudamani says. That sloka, in fact, has to be remembered every day. Prarabdham pushyati vapuhu. The body's poshana, shoshana, everything is taken care by the prarabdha. Iti nischitya nischalaha. Having this way firmly decided, iti nischitya. This is already there. Only you have to understand it. And then nischalaha. Then make your mind nischala regarding this. Then what to be done the life all? Remaining time, dhairyam alambya, with that patience and perseverance and consistency, yatnena, with full effort, swadhyasa apanayam kuru. Our entire attention is to remove the adhyasa of the jiva bhava on me, the atma vastu. Self-created adhyasa. Ki on my own pure conscious self, I only added the adhyasa of the jiva bhava, then identify with upadhi. I am just suffering a jiva of kartrutva bhoktrutva. So nirantara adhyasa apanayana prayatnam we have to attend on to. And that is done only through Vedanta Shravana, Vedanta Manana, Vedanta Chintana, Vedanta Vicharana. That should be so deeply, day in and out, intensely has to be done that all the adhyasas should be going away. Adhyasa is taking that as something else and living only as that. Atasmin tat buddhi. Atasmin means that which is not the deha. Tat buddhi is considering that as deha. I am the self. I am not the upadhi, but I am taking myself as the upadhi. This is called adhyasa. जो है वो नहीं देखना, जो नहीं है उसको मानना. Like atasmin means non-snake, that is rope. Tad buddhi, seeing the snake. That when you don't contemplate or think, this atasmin tad buddhi named adhyasa becomes so strongly. That we live life only like that, and that has got all the temptation promptings of desires in our mind. When we live life according to that, the phala comes, and doing the work while doing it, how many times we transgress all the rules regulation. Therefore the tamas, rajas, or the papa, adharma happens through us. Then we have to go through the consequences. That shloka again in Vivek Chudamani. He gives the other example of not the snake on the rope, but rope on the snake, while explaining this adhyasa, atasmin tadbuddhi. They are only in the sequence of the shlokas. Atasmin tadbuddhi prabhavati vimudasya tamasa vivekabhavad bhai spurati bhujage rajjudishana. If you see snake on the rope, it is not harmful permanently. Why? Once you get the guidance of somebody, use the torch, you understand it is not a snake, gone snake, you are safe with the rope. But if you see the rope in the snake, thinking that it is a rope, and put it on the gala, gone. In the same way, we are the self, safe rope. Ah, on that we are imagining this. Atasmin tadbuddhi vivekabhavad spurati bhujage rajadishna. Here, the deha, the tadatma is like the snake. And that we are considering as atma and putting it in our gala. तथा अनर्थव्रातः निपतति समाधातुरधिकः प्रतीतः चिन्मूर्तेः तव सुखथनोः संस्कृतियम्. Such a Sukaswarupa Atma you are, such a Samsruti samsara coming to you, because you are taking the Bhujaga as Rajju, the Upadis as the yourself. These are the shlokas in all that we actually. So, what we said there, the point here we are discussing Dehe Avayam. The third quality. May I not have any excessive attachment to this Deha, because of which I am always in a fear. And because of Deha only, different sambandhas with the Vastus, Vyaktis are there. Then something happening to them and they are not respecting, whatever. From that also the Bhaya comes. That also should not be there in me, which is little tough even to accept or understand. Only when I detach myself from saying that I am not Deha, that I'll be able to detach from things being around also as a not Mama. Then only the desire and effort that nothing happening around me should trouble me can happen. After the desire only the practice. See, the thought is like that. I am not this Deha, and Deha Sambandhis are Deha Sambandhi and not to me. Therefore, whether to this Deha or anybody related to this Deha, anything happens. What is there in our hands, we will do that. But not in the heart any of the Bhaya. Only through Viveka Vicharana of Aham Atma Asmi, Deha Na Asmi, that we will be able to do this. Even to try to do that also, we have to have some certain amount of understanding and vairagya. नहीं है तो हम करने को राजी नहीं होते. As identified Deha and associate with the things, beings around, depending on this Deha, there only we try to make adjustments. There only try to improve upon the situation. And it is not in our hands. Misery is the result. Clear? Like you can observe the sadhus in Haridwar, Rishikesh, Himalayas. They also die. They look at how the other sadhus when that sadhu dies. There's no tension, there's no worry, they don't love, they don't cry. They say this sadhu lived beautifully, did sadhana, helped us, we had wonderful time, now gone. You take him as Shiva only, unka Abhishek, Ashtottara, Om Namah Shivaya, all karke, they just do the Jalar Bhusamadhi and finish. Maybe Shodashi they do as a gratitude and all that, but they know that they are not Deha and he is also not Deha. Deha Upadhi is dropped. In the Deha itself, either he was Mukta or he was a serious Sadhaka. If the Mukta, there is no Deha Videha Mukti ho jayega. If he is a great Sadhaka, he will get a better Deha and he will continue sadhana. No bhayam regarding Deha. Gambhira. The sadhus, therefore, they are able to do that, like that. That is true. But whether sadhu or asadu, that is the only solution. Asadu means the नॉन सन्यासीज लाइक गृहस्थ, एनीबडी हो, आप जिस अवस्था में भी हो, the solution to some problems is that only. You have to understand it. You are not told to take up that sannyas and all, but live like sannyasi with abhayam. Is Krishna sannyasi here who is teaching it? No. Is Uddhava is sannyasi who is taught? No. Is Vyasa a sannyasi who written it? No. So they are not taken up sannyas, but lived like so. It's not a question of you take sannyasa or not. It's a question of are you understanding or not, and as you abiding by understanding or not. Because understanding frees you from misery, non-understanding puts you in misery. Choice is yours. Therefore, dehe abhayam. And more beautiful than all these three things, what? Manaha asangam. आई टेल यू, एक चीज अगर समझिए स्वामी जी कि हमको करना है पाना है, दसों चीज नहीं कर सकता हूँ. इफ यू आस्क मी, आई टेल यू अमॉन्ग दिस 18,000 श्लोकास भागवत पुराण, डू दिस वन थिंग, you have achieved everything. That's called manaha asangam. असंगोहम 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 पुनः पुनः सचिदानंद रूपोहम अहमेवाहमव्ययः. Aha. Manaha asangam means what? There is no sangha with the mana of everything, anything else, and there is no sangha with the mana also. In the mana, there is no sangha with anything. And to me also, I have no sangha with the mana. I am sakshi of the mana. And mana, as a functional instrument, is perceiving the Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasagandha, presenting it in front of the intellect. Intellect is discriminating on the ways of Chitta, taking decision, making the mana to execute. Mana again is executing through the Indriyas. Nowhere any sort of Sangha in the mana about anything in the world, and to me with the mana. Imagine what would be our state of life if these two are achieved. I have no sangha with mana, I know I am sakshi of it. Mana has no sangha with any rupa namadi that are there in its own womb. Coming from within because of impression, coming from without because of perception. No sangha. What is the sangha? Giving undue value positively or negatively. Positive undue value is called raga, negative undue value is dvesha. So raga, dvesha rahita, only dharma, vyavahara, namaka involvement. Vyavahara, that also dharma. Only that much when we do, undue importance is not given, there is no sangha in the mana for anything. And that has to be achieved. While doing so, it appears we are missing, losing, etc. And then I am giving you a hint. What is the hint here? We may lose or miss only our attachment with few things only which we have. We have attachment with few objects, few people, few expectations and experiences. Only few, not for the millions of people that are there around. चार पांच लोग, चार पांच चीज, चार पांच बेवकूफ आलोचना, यही हमको अटैचमेंट से फंसाते हैं. Not many. That only we have to forego and be ready. And always be alert about one aspect. While the Lord is giving asangata to us by taking away things, beings around us from us, try to consciously see that no new sangha are made in the mana. If at all we have to make sangha, it is only with Paramatma. You want to love? Love only God. You want to get love? Ask the Lord only to give the love. Because the love or sangha with God is not a sangha. It is oneness, because I and the Lord are one ultimately. Anything other than that, again sangha, again same chakkar of expectations, of disappointments and bereavements and all disillusionments, miseries. By now, if your age is 45, 50, you must be very clear about how the things and beings who were not there in our life entered, and we gave importance to them. Through that, we got sukha dukkha. A time came where either they left us or we had to leave them. While doing so, so much of dukkha is experienced. वो जो था ही नहीं चीज, but luckily when we are involved in some other deeper activity, even that dukkha, along with the dukkha, that thing or being with which it came, sukha or dukkha, they also gone away from our life. It should teach us that anything comes in our life goes also away one day. In between, whatever the time they are there with us, only for one purpose of doing dharma, no other purpose. And all the Adhyatmikata is nothing to do with the world around. It is only on my own mind, my own mind. It is inside only. Outside Kevala Dharma, inside only Adhyatmika Sadhana. When these two we try to make, what first will happen is our weakness, slavery, and feeling that I can't live without this or that, first that kachra will go away. Then, with that stabilized prasanna mana, when we inquire truth, the reality, that knowledge of the reality, knowledge of the truth gives us such a contentment, satisfaction, joy that after that, even if some things are around there, beings are around there, even if we are forced, we will not have Sangha. Like Sri Gurudev, like people. People around there. He loves all of them. He blesses them. He guides them. All that going on. Imagine, can he have Sangha to any individualized individuality? Any person. Can he have Sangha to any of the places, any of the objects, any of the projects? He who is reveling in the Brahma Ananda, the Atma Ananda, how can he have the Sangha for anything else? Before that, in the highest of wisdom, the Jadata of the Jagat, the Anityata of the Jagat, the Mayatva of the Jagat, the Adhyaropta of the Jagat, all of them when he so clearly understood. In fact, to serve us only he comes into the world. Otherwise, this world is such a useless thing. They don't want to come anywhere near to it. देखो, that state of being will be theirs at that time. We also have to reach to that. Such people go all over the world, meet all types of people only to do the seva or dharma. Otherwise, they are themselves in that bliss and beatitude of Aham Brahma Asmi, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Other than this, permanent solution और किसी में नहीं दिखता. In other cases, some things beings we are attached to, sometimes they give us sukha, and then we ourselves get bored, or the prarabdha separates us, or that person gets bored of us, or he finds somebody else. You can't end it. Children love parents so much, they feel so much, mama, mama, all that. But as he grows little elderly, goes to the schools and all, he gets lot of friends around, so he tends to spend time with them. Then his attachment to the mother, father reduces. आप ना इफ यू डोंट एक्सेप्ट इट एज पेरेंट्स, इतना मेरे पीछे मम्मी मम्मी करके आता था, मामा अब नहीं आ रहा, नहीं आएगा वो, अब इंतजार करो, जब शादी करेगा तो देखेगा भी नहीं आपको. Just like you also, my for husband, when you got married, few days you had so much attachment parents, उनको छोड़ के आना पड़ा वगैरह, whether it is ससुराल जाओ या नहीं तो घर जवाई, both cases. But after some time, when you mutually understood each other and help each other, the value, respect given to parents reduces. मतलब time given is reduces. Respect, value, love may be remaining there. And you get your children, दो चार, अब कहाँ रहेगा उनको टाइम देने के लिए पेरेंट्स को. Parents have to understand it. Remember, it is a necessary in the uh, evolution of the jiva. Such things have to happen to him. Like in your own evolutionary process, not that deliberately or with some grudges you are doing. In its own process of evolution, you will have to rise above some things. You have to get detached. Even if you don't want, you are pushed into. Is it not like you get a promotion? Then in every governmental departments, especially the banks and all, if you want promotion, you will be transferred. You understand? Then at that time, the comfort which you had in your hometown, all your friends, relatives, you have to forego it for a promotion. नहीं चाहिए promotion, नहीं जाना चाहते हो तो promotion नहीं मिलेगा. And no otherwise intelligent people says no to that promotion. You will go. And our goodness, our values, our emotions, our positivities always are with us. Wherever we go, we express them, and that gives joy to us, that gives joy to others also. If a person knows this, then he will not object to the Lord when he Lord wants to put us from one place to the other. जहाँ भी भेजो, मुझे आपके प्रति प्रेम भक्ति है और जगत के प्रति सेवा भाव है, बस हो गया. Jahi vidhi rakeram was a very important. So here, manaha asangam. See the four things. Asangam of the mana, dehe abhayam, indriyanam nirvruti, chittam prasanna. What more is required? So spashta it is said. Now the clarity is given to us. It is in our hands to gain each of these. Such person is said to be in the sattva, and that is mat samsthanam or mat padam. Tat sattvam and tat sattvam mat padam iti vidhi. That is what my state of being is. I am like that. I am always in prasanna, whichever the avatara I take. And my indriyas don't run behind the objects, etc. You know, माखन खाना वगैरह ऐसे नाटक थोड़ा एंटरटेन करने के लिए किया. 56 भोग आप चढ़ाते हैं, डजन मीन वो खाते हैं, वो देखते हैं बस. We offer lot of naivedya, not that Lord is greedy. It is our expression, our devotion. And my bhayam I don't have with the deha. अवतार में जब भी हूँ, any deha I'll take. I have no attachment. That's why I can come as Matsya Kurma Varaha. I can come as Vaman Ramakrishna. Anything I can come. Final is Manaha Asangam. When I have to leave Gopikas, I'll leave and go. When I have to leave all Arjuna Uddhava, I'll leave and go. When I have to leave Sita ji, I will leave her. Asangam. Okay. That is how Mat Padam. Okay. Then the other two spoken here, Rajasic and Tamasic. Not so important. सात्विक सीख ले हमने, वो प्रैक्टिस करते जाओ, कल्याण हो जाएगा. But for the sake of this formality, we can see how a person, when the Rajoguna is in him, what is that? Vikurvan kriyaya chadhi anirvruttischa chetasam gatra swasthyam manobhrantam rajah etair nishamaya. Etaihi rajogunam nishamaya. By these lakshanas, please come to know that that individual is fully engrossed in invoking rajoguna of the prakriti in him. And each of them are very painful to listen, but we don't leave them. See, leaving the tamas rajas is secondary. Desire to leave them is primary. So to gaining sattva is secondary, but desire to gain it is primary. If you have the desire to give up rajas tamas, desire to come to sattva, then slowly it starts happening. अब है ही नहीं, हमारे अंदर में दृढ़ निष्ठा है ही नहीं, निश्चय है ही नहीं. As we were discussing yesterday, day we were also this topic, the lack of dhrudha nishtha or the nischaya, that we are not able to rise above. If we are very strong in nischaya, then nothing can stop that person in rising above. Somehow आप किसी भी मूड में हो, लेकिन मन में निश्चय को दृढ़ बनाते जाना. Do zero sadhana, never mind, but start becoming dhrudha in the nischaya. When the nischaya becomes drudha, then suddenly you start doing one day. This you see in Hindi movies, in South movie also, when the hero or related hero is beaten by the villain and his gang party. All the grama people all are looking around. Then they feel sympathetic that hero is beaten. Slowly their sympathy becomes a little stronger. Sankalpa. Slowly you can observe them. The sankalpa becomes so drudha nischay in them. Earlier, यार ये बच जाए. Second, यार इसको कोई बचाए. देखो, these two things happen. ये बच जाए या कोई बचाए इसको. या पहले कहते हैं छोड़ दे. Let the villain छोड़ दे इनको. या ये खुद बच जाए भाग कर कुछ. Or somebody come and बजाओ. But these three don't work. Slowly you can observe in the camera, that in them the thought starts becoming stronger कि हम ही इनको बचाएंगे. When that force in them becomes so strong, all of them look each other and break through all barricades. They attack all villain and then they save him. If you can observe it in the same way, whether we are able to do or not, दृढ़ निश्चय को बढ़ाते जाओ. Shubhecha, it is called. I must become sattvic. I must become sattvic. I must get rid of rajas tamas. ये 24 घंटे ये जप करना. As much as we do the japa Om Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Namah Shivaya Namo Narayana, so much this japa is to be done. In fact, this japa when you do seriously, then the name of Rama and Krishna we take so sincerely that definitely this thing is achieved. If the Druda Nischaya of becoming Sattoguna is not there, we take Rama Krishna Nama only in Rajo and Tamoguna mood and remain in that mood only. But imagine if my desire is very strong to become Sattvic, then will I afford to take the name of the Lord or doing japa or any upasana in a mediocre manner? I will do it so deeply, intensely, concentratedly, with full all vigor, vitality, and following rules that definitely through these things I become sattvic, which is my desire. बड़ा स्ट्रांग करना है. देखो मुझे आत्मा अनुभव पाना है, मुझे जिज्ञासु बनना है, मुझे मुक्त बनना है. इज इट नॉट? एंड मुझे सत्व गुण वृद्ध होना है, वृद्धि. These are all the things we have to feel for us. I must become sattvic. I must become sattvic. Through sattvic, let me become tattvic. So that no more bondage with asat jagat. This is how it is. So what are these durgunas of the rajoguna? One, kriyaya vikurvan. Almesha in his mind, there are the vikaras of the krodha, raga, ityadi, because of the prompting of some kriya to be done, prompted by some desires. So, kriyaya vikurvan. So, always vikara in his mind, not stable. Then, adhihi means what? A means asamantat, dhi means buddhi, is a kshipta, is thrown. Because of so many disturbances are there in his mind with a desire, how to fulfill those desires in that way is dhi is kshipta in 100 directions. So, that's called adhihi. Third one is anirvrittihi cha chetasam. The indriyas, mana, chitta, all of them, like in Sataguna, which was in nirvrita sthiti, is vyakti ka nirvritti mein rehte nahi. Jumping again and again, running again and again into one or the other, Vishaya Vastus through the Indriyas. Because of all that, as we said yesterday very deeply, exhaustively, Gatra Aswasthyam. Now, here by saying this, Lord Krishna is very clearly telling us how, because the psyche disturbed, the psychosomatic, physiological abnormalities happen, then one becomes diseased at one or the other part of the body. According to the higher Ayurvedic studies and all, the matter called Deha is made by the mind only. Stula, Sukshma matter is called Mana, Stula matter is called Deha. And every happening in the Deha is influenced by the Mana only. When the Mana is in Rajoguna, all the Sharirika Rugmata Roga come. Gatra Swasthyam, the bodily ailments will come. And if you study all the medical reports of the latest trend, why not the old but youngsters of 20-25 saal are getting the heart attacks, are getting so many of the hemorrhages and all? Only one answer. At the mind level, they are stressed and strained so much. The home domestic related, the professional related, the social related, ये तीनों मिलकर only 40-30%. Remaining 60-70% is self-created. The desires, the passions, the lusts, all of them, which are at the mind level, are becoming so unbearable onto the stula deha that deha is giving away or giving up. Oh. And once the aswasthata of the gatra happens, how much of dukkha then misery, batao? So many paralytic attacks, brain hemorrhages, they are all piled up pressures. And no pressure should be held by us for any reason. You have to release the pressure. Pressure release one is by negative things, of drinks, drugs, or taking sleeping pills and sleeping. Some useless people do that. You and I don't do that. Our pressure releasing is only in jnanam, only in bhakti, only in sharanagati, only in viveka vairag. You and I, if you want to release pressure with one thought, you can release. सारा दुनिया बनाने वाले भगवान है, उनको बताए कब क्या करना है, उन्हीं के हिसाब से हो रहा है, जो हो रहा है अच्छा ही हो रहा है, आई विल एक्सेप्ट इट. Is it not? If my mother wants me to have gallows as sacrifice for her freedom, I am ready. देखो, वो जो भगत सिंह गाने वगैरह, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर. But what he means is what? If my mother Bharata Mata wants me to sacrifice for her for freedom, I am ready for it. Where is the pressure? Even at the time of dying. अरे देखो क्या बढ़िया सा स्थिति है. That is bhakti for the Bharat Mata. They had that. Is it not? In the same way, it is Lord who is managing the show. He is aware of me and he knows what to treat, how to treat me. This is all his treatment only. So how should I feel pleasure? Or that pressure? I am in poverty. प्रभु को वही चाहिए तो हो गए. अब वो जो चाहते हैं तो मुझे और राजा बनाएंगे, रंक बनाएंगे. देखो, we have to keep on having more and bharosa in Lord. Less and less dependency on the upadhis, more and more bharosa on the Lord, then all pressures go away. Then these deha aswastya ityadi will not come. Dehe gatra aswasthyam, then the final is मनोभ्रांतम. माइंड हमेशा भ्रमण में है, भ्रांति में है. पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है, कब क्यों हो रहा है. नथिंग इज नोन. दैट इज कॉल्ड रजोगुण. So there manaha is asangam. Here is sanga, and with that sanga you want to have this or that, but कैसे हो पाए पता नहीं चलता. हमेशा is in a भ्रांति, delusion of wanting do this to get that one, or the other thing to do, or other thing to get. भ्रांति मतलब घूमता ही रहता है एक जगह से दूसरे. These are all rajoguna lakshana. So kriya vikurvan, desire prompted, throwing away of the mana or vikaras in the mana. Adhihi, Sita is always in anxious about what to do and what to achieve. Anirvritishya chetasam, the indriyas are never at peace. Gatra swasthyam, all the parts of the body get diseased or one or the other. Manobhrantam, mana always in the bhranta sthiti. This is called as the chanchala mana with bhranti, then the unhealthiness of the body, then the sense organs always are disturbed, craving for something or the other. He is thrown to 10 directions to do something or achieve something. And finally, always in the mind is the vikara of the kamakrodha. So kamakrodhadi vikara, 10 places thrown the in chitta to gain this kamakrodha. Then indriyas are anirvritaha, they are not satisfied. Then gatra swasthyam, unhealth. Then mana is running in 10 directions. You can observe all this in a child. If the parents are unfortunate, when they get this child, अब इसको लेकर जब वो ट्रेन में जाते हैं, is it not? और कहीं पिकनिक में या पार्क में, यू कैन ऑब्जर्व द चाइल्ड. उसका ना कहीं जाना है, कुछ ना कुछ पाना है, कुछ ना कुछ करना है. ना खुद बैठेगा, न इनको बैठने देगा. न शांत रहेगा, न शांत रहने देगा. हाउ मच ही बिकम्स डिस्टर्बिंग टू हिम, nuisance to others. And is coughing and नाक से सब sneezing हो रहा है. And he want the ice cream to eat, but बताए नहीं चाहिए, नहीं देंगे, बस रोता है कि I want it only. See some of the naughty children, Rajoguna. Same is our inner Antakarana. When we are with Rajoguna. That is every day, सुबह से शाम तक. चलता है. कितने दिन हो गए देखो, जहाँ प्रशांतता से आराम से कुर्सी में बैठकर भगवान का स्मरण करके, भगवान धन्यवाद, यू गेव मी टू लिव इन दिस वे द लाइफ, आई एम सो हैप्पी फॉर यू, थैंक यू. When did we do? वो करने को टाइम ही नहीं. टेंशन भागो. These are all Rajaguna. And the Tamoguna is very funny. Siddhachittam viliyeta chetasagrane akshamam manaha nashtam tamaha glanihi. These are all the things tamoguna में रहते हैं when we are in tamoguna. Sita chittam viliyeta. Chitta is not at all active, alert, dynamic. It is only tending to enter into vilaya sthiti of non-contemplation, non-thinking. While doing so, chetasa agrahane kshamam. It makes chitta incapable of doing grahana of what is satya, astya, nitya, anitya, or what is to be done or non-doing, not to be done. Chetasah grahane akshamam means what? Vilay hota hota is not able to comprehend the things, what is happening around. Then what? I have to respond to it. चित्त होना है ना हमको alert at every moment. Then we have to sharply discriminate and decide what thought to have, not to have, what word to speak, not to speak, what action to do, not to do, where to go, where not to go. This has to be alertly every moment done. But when we are overpowered by tamoguna, chitta enters into laya, then chetasa grahane akshamam, it is not able to hold on to the chitta and do the grahana of the situation around, take decision. An example for this, what I can tell you is, when you are driving scooter or car and you are feeling little bit sleepy, very dangerous, huh? Don't try that one. That time you can see when you have driven for long time or had a heavy lunch, and then in that afternoon in the hot sun you are driving after some time, especially when the road is very monotonous, कुछ very rough and tough road है, a lot of traffic है, then by changing gear clutch you remain little alert. But the road is long and smooth and nobody talk around or nothing much. What happens is, see the chittam chetasa grahane akshamam. Slowly the dosing starts happening. If not for the driver, why driver को ये लेके एक्सीडेंट कराए, डेली हो ही रहा है. You are the pillion sitting next to driver. To us only this happen. गाना सुन लिया, बोर हो गया, बातें कर ली, हो गए. Slowly you can observe chitta is entering into laya. Thereafter, Chetasa Karane Akshamam is what? The one you only by choice ask to put those gane, you don't feel interest in that gana. You only raised a topic of discussion with other people. We only lose the interest in listening to that topic. You don't say it to them. They are going talking. You say who. After that who also ruk jata hai. So you can feel that that's called the tamoguna in entering into us. In that context, we explained tamoguna by the example. But the tamasic people are always in that mood of चित्त हमेशा सोता बहुत जबरदस्ती उसको उठाना है. Like the children in the morning. How difficult it is to wake them up. इतना मार के then they get up and go and sleep in bathroom again. They go. That is called sija chittam chetasa grahane akshamam. सोने को जा रहा है दिमाग हमेशा, और उठाकर उसको ये करो वो करो करो तो नहीं हो रहा है. That fellow shoe wear karo, you have to go to school. Then he puts the socks left and right, right and left, shoe in the left and right. While putting the books in the bag, दो किताबें नीचे गिर जाते हैं. He's not aware. He's sleepy there. These are tamoguna lakshana. All tamasic food when you eat, tamasic programs when you see, all these things happen. Chetase grahane akshamam. Third one is mano nashtam. Mano is not at all taking any good sankalpa, good emotions. नहीं है. Mano nashtam. अरे mother is telling me in my own interest, therefore I have to, वो आएगा नहीं तो आठ उसको, is gone case. Mano nashtam, extreme tamaha, inertia, lethargy. And then the glani. Glani is the outcome of all these things. Then I have done something wrong or I have not achieved what I have to achieve. Therefore, the glani. This is called as the tamoguna predominance. And from the Adhyatmika standpoint, we all almost are always in this sort of tamoguna only. When you go to class, 10 मिनट में नींद आ जाती है, बट वो क्या कह रहे मास्टर जी, वो सुनने को नहीं मिलता. मनो नष्टम ओनली, ऑलरेडी लास्ट इन स्लीप. तमहा कराटे. These are the three gunas. That's how they are there. Now, Yesterday we saw this. Edhamane gune satve devanam balamedate asuranam charajasi tamasi uddhava rakshasa. So sattva gune edhamane devanam balamedate. When the sattva guna is increasing, devatas bala increases. Devatas bala increases means what? All our antakarana, all of them become sharp and subtle, and remember, they become jnana oriented. Okay? Either they are jnana oriented or they are not indulgent. Nivrutti oriented they are. That's called as devatas getting the bala. Use indriyas only for gaining jnanam, not for the bhogam or nidra. That's called the rajas and tamas predominance. That's called the asura guna. First sattve edhamane. So when the sattva grows, devanam. So the indriyas are active alert and they are involved only the sattvic aspects of the knowledge gaining or good values, good qualities. That is the meaning of the devatas bala increasing. Devasas are always sattvic, their gunas are sattvic, they are always jnanam oriented. Jnana swarupa hi inko devata kehte hain. So this person is like that. Then asuranam rajasi, rajasi edamane asuranam balam edate. So when the rajoguna grows, the asuras in us become balavan. When the asuras become stronger, there will be pravrutti orientation will be there more, along with that the bhoga parayanata. The jnana parayanata is sattva guna vruddhi. Bhoga parayanata is rajoguna vruddhi. When the sattva guna grows, there is nivrutti of the indriyas. When the rajoguna grows, there is a pravrutti of the indriyas. More and more. Then when the tamaguna vedhamane rakshasam balamedate, when the tamoguna becomes more and more, then the rakshasa pravritti. The rakshasa pravritti are atyanta krura, cruel. Then with that cruel activity done, then one either is entering into the delusion or it is other way around. First delusion, then krurata, then exhausted of it, then tamas of nidra. This is called rakshasas. राक्षस क्या होता है उनका जीवन में? दे वेक अप, गो एंड किल सम पीपल, ईट देम, एंड दे टायर्ड इन दैट किलिंग, दे गो टू स्लीप. दे डोंट हैव द थिंकिंग. दैट्स कॉल्ड मोह. व्हाट थिंकिंग? अरे हम इसको क्यों मार रहे हैं बेकार में, और कुछ भी करके अपना पेट भर सकते हैं. ऑल दैट दे डोंट डू. द राक्षस प्रवृत्ति. सो भोगा इज राजस, क्रूरता इज तामस, दिव्य गुणास ऑफ पॉजिटिव इज सात्विक. Nivrutti of the Indriyas is Sattvic. Pravrutti of Indriyas is Rajasic. Moha of the Indriyas is Tamasic. That is Devatas Bala. This is called Asura Bala. This is called Rakshasa Bala. When Sattva Guna grows, the Devata Bala Vriddhi, all Sattva Guna Sampada and Jnana and Indriya Nivrutti. With the Rajas growing, only the Bhoga Parayanata, then too much of Pravrutti, agitation, restlessness. Tamoguna, the Krurata, then moha, there will less this tamas only in them. With the krurata, they indulge and all, then tamas, they are into deep sleep, etc. This is also tamasika edhamana. तो मैं कौन हूँ? जीव. मेरे द्वारा देवता व्यक्त हो रहा है, राक्षसा और असुरा, डिपेंड्स ऑन विच गुना आई एम हैविंग दैट डे. Is it not? The keep on having sattva guna and express like devata. Always let the divinity express manifest through me, not the asura or rakshasa. That is my choice. See, by teaching all that, Bhagavan Krishna, what is he saying? मैंने तुमको बनाया, freedom दे दिया, I gave the gunas, prakriti, and you can create whatever you want in you. Freedom is yours, achievement is yours, suffering or enjoying is yours. चाह करके तुम रजो तमो बढ़ाओगे तो मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ? You will be asura and rakshasa. No, I want to have this sattvic guna. Then good, my choice. You will be a devata. Daivi bala in us, we should grow day by day. That is by growing sattva guna in us. Sattva guna lakshanas, half of them are already told. Remaining will be told in the future shlokas. Topic शुरू हुआ ही सत्व गुण के 15 गुणों से. रजो गुण के 15, 16, फिर तमो गुण. Already the topic came. वो बहुत पहले हो गए 6 दिन. We have forgotten. Every day refer karna in shlokon ko. Okay, now comes the three avasthas are also because of predominance of the three gunas. That is only for information sake. उसमें ज़्यादा साधना करने का कुछ नहीं. Just know. He says सत्वात् जागरणं विद्यात् रजसा स्वप्नमादिशेत् प्रस्वापं तमसा जन्तोः तुरीयं त्रिषु संततम. From here the turiya avastha also Bhagavan brings the moksha sthiti. When we are in sattva tamo guna, we are in the guna as jiva struggling in the prakriti only. Mukti will come only when we become gunaatita. प्रकृति को पार करने वाले पुरुष तादात्म्य से ही मुक्ति है. There's no doubt about it. That has not introduced so far. Something it is said that he is my bhakta and he'll be in mat padam. But specifically the gunatita sthiti is not mentioned. Now it is mentioned. Like in Gita also, he goes on talk about triguna. Only toward the end he says gunatita. Then Arjuna asks how the gunatita behaves. Then he tells. Then how to reach to the gunatita sthiti. Same thing what said here, also said here toward the end of. माम चयो अव्यभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान् समति इत्येतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते. That's how one become gunatit. Here also Bhagavan speaks last three shlokas. Bhaiya, in this way you become gunatit. But before that, the three avasthas are trigunatmaka. In that, sattvat jagaranam vidyat. When we are in jagrata avastha, we are all predominantly in sattva guna. Because of which, indriyas, mana are functional and they are pursuing, they are planning, etc. प्योरेस्ट जागर सत्व वी कांट से बिकॉज बीच बीच में लुढ़कते रहते हम तमोगुण में, डिस्ट्रैक्ट होते रहते हैं रजोगुण में. बट प्रिडोमिनेंटली all are actively dynamically working in jagrata avastha. Therefore sattva guna pradhana. Touch of rajas tamas will definitely there. Purest form तो होते नहीं, थोड़ा तो गुण मिले ही रहते हैं. So when we are in waking plane, we are in sattva guna. Clear? But in the waking plane again we are in rajas tamas. उसको avoid करके pure सत में रहना है. That was already taught. Again it will be told. Second is one rajasa swapnam adishet. In the swapna avastha, what works guna is rajo guna. Sattva guna is not there. Why do we say so? Because the indriyas are not active, alert to perceive the outer grosser objects. It is in rajoguna. The swapna avastha is rajoguna pradhana. Then praswapam tamasa jantoho. When the tamoguna overpowers, it's a deep dreamless sleep. तमोगुण पूर्ण तरह से आवरण हो गया. Deep sleep is tamoguna pradhana. Then jantoho for all the jivas. Turiyam trishu santadam. And what is turiyavastha? Turiyavastha is that state of pure conscious self, be attentive, which is there in all the three avasthas. And somehow by being in jagrata, not allowing to go into swapna and sushupti, transcending or rising above the jagrata by developing consciousness in us or our identity with the consciousness in us, we rise to the turyavastha. Turya is what? That pure conscious self which is in all the three avasthas. वो इन तीनों अवस्था टच नहीं होता है. And to that Turiya Avastha, untouched by all these three pure consciousness, we have to awaken our identity. When we are identified with pure Tamoguna, gone into Nidra. He is a Jiva. He is called Prajna. When you identify with Rajoguna, we are into Dreama. There we are called it Taijasa. When you are with Sattva-guna, you are waking plane doing this or that, we are called Vishwa. So Vishwa Taijasa Prajna are the expense of Jiva by identifying with Sattva-rajas Tamoguna. Then pure consciousness is the experience of that jiva is no more a jiva now when it transcends all these three gunas. Aha. Then when it takes up upadhi to do the service of the Lord or the jiva, or if still there is dehadi prarabdha is there, he will behave, but he is not bound. He knows I am conscious self. Is it not? That would be the state of the being. Now comes upari gachanti satvena brahmana janah tamasādodha āmukhyāt rajasantaracharinaha. Now this is very, very important sloka. There is not much explanation here, but that thought itself is important, inspiring. He says, satvena, when sattva guna is developed in one by lot of conscious practices, First of all, he is called as Brahmana. He starts becoming Brahmana and Upari Upari Gachanti. They rise above, even beyond Swarga into Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapoloka. In that way, either he goes into after leaving the body, or while being in the body only, as he grows in Sattva-guna, his understanding becomes as deeper, greater, subtler, like the rishis, munis who are there in these Uttama Lokas, in whose perception nothing of the world is missed, in the sense they understand what is the position of what. परमात्मा का पोजिशन, ईश्वर का पोजिशन, माया का पोजिशन, the मिथ्या जगत प्रोजेक्शन का पोजिशन, and how the world is continuously changing according to Kala and Maya Paramatma. All those things they understand, they know how to detach from them, they know to know, identify with the self. That is the meaning of upari upari gachanti. जितना सत्व हमारे अंदर बढ़ता जाएगा उतना हम प्रमोट इवॉल्व होता रहेंगे. Choice is ours. Second, adho adha gachanti tamasa. Then the tamo guna is going on, increased in us, added adaha adaha, like that upari upari, this is adaha adaha. Kahan tak? Amukyat. Amukya means even up to the level of becoming the stones or the blade of grass, and all that also it becomes. The jivas become the small little insect level, usse become घास फूस की तरह. They also are alive. In that also prana is there. The tamo guni will become that. Ado amukyat. If you increase tamo guna, choice is ours. Then the third one is what? And then rajasa antaracharinaha. Then with the rajoguna, in between they go on moving as a human beings, and in that also into different positions. These are all intermediate. Mainly the Manava Janma is called as Antaracharinaha, we can call it as. Maybe little higher. Manusha Gandharvanam, Deva Gandharvanam, as we chant in the Taittiriya Upanishad, there we go, again come back. But the more Sattva-guna is increasing, above we go into. We should aim at that. And always remember, we are all guna only. When the sattva guna increases, when we rise above into the higher worlds, naturally the lower temptations will not be there, demands will not be there, disturbances will not be there, distractions will not be there. In total, importance to all these will not be there. What is spiritual sadhana is, as we said 25 minutes back, if you remember, rising above the importance given to the things which are pulling us down. When we grow in Sattva Guna, naturally the importance given to them goes away. Like when I take a fresh bath, I am in Sattva Guna. After taking bath, if I am told, Acha naha liya, jaake so jao. It was so tough for me to get out of bed, first of all. I was only there only. Aage piche, I was becoming dosha like this. But somehow took bath. Then I am told, after taking bath, now you sleep. Except the modern people in the night time, naha kar sote hain. Okay, that's different. But in general, you have reason about that desire to sleep. You say कुछ काम करके या जो भी फिर बाद में दोपहर में desire of nidra is not given up, but it is devalued at that time and postponed if at all required. But at that moment, that tamoguna is conquered because of sattva gained taking bath. Is it not? Like when you go into temple. Till you enter in the temple gates with your friends, whomever you are going, all nonsense you talk. The moment you enter, अरे मंदिर आ गए रे, अब कुछ नहीं बोलना, होता है कि नहीं? The moment we are entering into the mandiram, all the unwanted topics of rajas tamas are gone. In a general ideal case, I am saying, exceptions are always there. Then once you come out of the temple, again the world, then rajas tamas enters. You understand? When you are entering to sattvika, you are raising higher. Upari upari gachanti sattvena brahmanaha janaha. It's a promise given by the Lord. Increase your sattva guna, you will be promoted to the higher and higher ones. Increase your tamo guna, you will amukya ado गिरते जाओगे जिंदगी भर जिंदगी. Every day, every life you will fall only. No, I'll just take 1-2 minutes. We have to do other class. Irrespective of which place, which position, which age we are. Okay. Unless this wisdom we have, if you don't have this wisdom, anybody from any level can fall or rise at any age. You can see in the world, at the age of 40, till 40, people were in Sattva Guna. But somehow something influenced them slowly through Rajas and Tamas. By the age of 60, themselves they have totally destroyed. लोग नहीं है क्या इस दुनिया में? In the same way, up to the 40 age, they are in Rajoguna and Tamas. But something entered to them, or they got a contact with a Guru or Mahatma. Slowly, you can see that within 20 years, that fellow Tamasic Rajasic slowly became Shuddha Sattva Guni. Able to recite all mantras, learned all the things, studied all Shastra, went to all pilgrimages, did lot of Upasana, Japa. You can see he's rising in Sattva Guna. Accordingly, you can see the Ronak in his Sara and in surroundings. In one life only. The other earlier example was by giving value to Adamasa, Ado Gachanti. People also say, यार तुम 20 साल पहले कितना बढ़िया थे. आप देखो सच योर फेस एंड योर एक्सप्रेशन हौले की तरह बन गए. Anybody, if you are not careful, nobody is responsible. You can't say, but इनके बारे में नहीं पता मुझे. Who told you not to study Shastra? You should have studied them. If not, at least now you study. At any age, one can fall from higher to the lower, lower. Even there's no guarantee. Age of 60, when you are with full of Raunaka of your Sataguna, if you are not consistently maintaining that, within 5-6 years, again you can enter it into Tamas and Rajas. कोई ठिकाना नहीं इसको हमको. Therefore, for us, there's no choice but to maintain the Sattva-guna all the time. That alertness, that commitment is called maturity. I'll die in Sattva-guna only in the remembrance of God. Not that I have done all Sattvic sadhana after age of 50-60. Now I'm become tired, I'll become tamasic and all. No. फिर गिर जाएंगे हम. This is what is carried with us. Okay. Now he says, Sattve pralinaha swaryanti naralokam rajolayah tamolayastu nirayam yanti mameva nirgunaha. So in the predominance of Sattva-guna, if somebody dies, he will go to Swarga. Then in the predominance of Rajoguna, one dies, Laya, Naralokam, come back to human body. Tamolayaha, somehow developed all the Tamoguna Lakshanas, and dies, Nirayam Yanti. They go to Naraka, as well as they go to all the Papa Yoni. Mameva Yanti Nirgunaha. When one has transcended all the three gunas, when he leave the body or part of the body is over, they will reach into me, the pure conscious self. By now, with these 2-3 years of listening, at least a vague concept idea should be forming in us about the presence of Shuddha Sat Chit Paramatma, which is beyond all the names and forms of the world, all the Panchakoshas, all the Antakaranas. नाम रूपात्मक जगत पंचकोशात्मक जीव भाव अंतकरण अंदर वाला, इससे परे एक कॉन्शियस एग्जिस्टेंस प्लस ब्लिसफुल सेल्फ है. उसका आइडिया बना कि नहीं अभी तक? दैट इज द स्टेट ऑफ लिबरेशन. दैट इज वेयर इज आवर डेस्टिनेशन और द गोल. ए पर्सन हु ट्रांसेंडेड थ्री गुणा विल रीच दैट मी. माम यान्ति निर्गुणा. हाँ, हो गया. इन दिस वे now satvika karma, satvika jnana, satvika karta. So to rajasic karma, jnana, karta, tamasic, they will be explained to us, enumerated. In that way, therefore, in an individual, every aspect, you can make it sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and accordingly you get the result of it. The result of that, this will be the topic elaborated to us in the next few slokas. This is how Bhagavan in this chapter, Prakriti, उसके 3 गुण, उसके असर और क्या होता है, क्या करना है, क्लियरली इज मेंशनिंग. चॉइस इज अवर्स. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय. भागवत महापुराण की जय. हम